Video 82, Ethical Decision-Making Models, Area 8, MCHES, Subcompetencies, 8.1.1. Review the learning objectives for this video. Before we dive into specific decision-making models, I want to help you feel really confident about a critical distinction that your certification exam frequently tests and that many candidates find challenging. Understanding the difference between an ethical dilemma and an ethical violation is going to make such a difference in how you approach exam scenarios. An ethical dilemma occurs when two or more legitimate ethical principles conflict with each other and there is no clear way to honor both simultaneously. For example, imagine that a teenager in your after-school health program discloses that she is sexually active and asks you not to tell her parents. Your obligation to respect her autonomy and maintain confidentiality, which are core principles under Article 1, conflicts with your concern about her safety and well-being, which is also a legitimate ethical concern. Both principles are valid and important, but they cannot both be fully honored in this situation. That kind of genuine tension requires careful analysis, structured reasoning, and professional judgment. An ethical violation, by contrast, is a situation where a clear standard exists in the code of ethics and someone has broken it. Fabricating data in a grant report is not a dilemma because the code unambiguously prohibits dishonest reporting under Article 3. Misrepresenting your credentials is not a dilemma because Article 2 clearly requires honest representation of qualifications. Violations require accountability and corrective action, not extended deliberation. Now here's why this distinction matters so much for your exam. Different types of scenarios require different types of responses. Some scenarios present genuine dilemmas where you need to apply a structured decision-making framework to weigh competing principles. Others present clear violations where the correct action is straightforward and follows the established progression of documentation, private conversation, escalation to supervisors, and reporting to the credentialing body that we discussed in the Article 2 video. Once you can quickly identify which type of situation you are looking at, you are going to feel so much more confident choosing the right answer. Now let me share with you a framework that I think you are going to find incredibly useful, both for your exam and for your career. The ethics model developed by Doherty and Pertillo provides a memorable 6-step framework for systematically resolving ethical dilemmas in health education practice. Each letter in the word ethics corresponds to a specific step in the process, which makes it easy to remember when you need it most. E stands for examine. Begin by thoroughly examining the dilemma before taking any action. What exactly is the conflict? Who is involved? What are the verified facts as opposed to assumptions? Many ethical mistakes happen because practitioners jump to conclusions without fully understanding the situation. Take the time to gather complete information before proceeding. T stands for think about the ethical principles that are at stake. Which articles of the Code of Ethics apply to this situation? Are fundamental principles such as autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, or justice involved? Are there also legal considerations that intersect with the ethical ones? This step requires you to connect the specific situation to the broader ethical framework you have been studying. H stands for hypothesize possible courses of action. Brainstorm all potential options, not just the first two that come to mind. Creative and thorough thinking at this stage can reveal courses of action that honor multiple competing principles simultaneously. Avoid limiting yourself to binary choices when a third option might exist. I stands for investigate the consequences of each option you have generated. For every possible course of action, ask who would be helped and who might be harmed. Consider both the short-term and long-term consequences. Think about how each option would affect the trust that participants, colleagues, and communities place in you and in the profession. C stands for choose the best course of action based on your analysis. Select the option that best balances the competing principles, minimizes harm to all stakeholders, and most closely aligns with the code of ethics. Importantly, document your reasoning so that you can explain and defend your decision if questioned. S stands for scrutinize your decision after implementation. Go back and evaluate whether your decision achieved the intended outcome. Reflect on what worked well and what you might do differently if faced with a similar situation in the future. This reflective step is essential because it transforms individual ethical decisions into learning experiences that strengthen your professional judgment over time. This kind of active reflection is one of the most powerful ways to grow as a professional, and you should feel proud of yourself for learning it now. In addition to the ethics model, let me walk you through a simplified practical approach that you can apply both on your exam and in your daily professional practice. I think you will find this very empowering. Step 1 is to identify all stakeholders involved in the situation. Map out every person or group with a stake in the outcome, including program participants, the health educator, the employer or organization, the broader community, funding agencies, and any other parties who could be affected by the decision. Stakeholder analysis is a powerful tool because it forces you to see the situation from multiple perspectives, and that broader view almost always leads to better decisions. For example, if an employer wants you to share participant data with a marketing company, the stakeholders include participants whose privacy and trust are at risk, the employer who sees a financial or partnership opportunity, the community whose broader trust in health services could be damaged, and you as the professional whose ethical integrity is on the line. Step 2 is to consult the code of ethics directly, rather than relying on your general sense of what feels right or wrong. The code exists precisely for these moments of uncertainty. If the dilemma involves privacy or participant rights, look at Article 1. If it involves professional conduct or colleague behavior, look at Article 2. If it involves employer pressure, look at Article 3. If it involves program delivery methods, look at Article 4. If it involves research or data collection, look at Article 5. If it involves student supervision or mentoring, look at Article 6. Being specific about which articles apply strengthens your reasoning and your confidence. Step 3 is to seek input from trusted colleagues, supervisors, or formal ethics committees. You do not have to resolve every ethical challenge alone, and reaching out is not a sign of weakness or uncertainty. It is actually a sign of professional maturity and a recognition that ethical dilemmas are complex and benefit from multiple perspectives. Professional organizations like the Society for Public Health Education also offer ethics consultation resources for their members. Step 4 is to select the action that best protects participant welfare while respecting the relevant ethical and legal standards. When in doubt on your exam, ask yourself which option puts the people you serve first. That is almost always the correct answer. Remember that ethical decision-making is not an innate talent that some people have and others do not. It is a skill that improves with deliberate practice using structured frameworks like the ones we have discussed in this video. And the fact that you are learning these frameworks right now tells me you are going to handle these situations with real wisdom and care. Read the scenario stem aloud. Give students 30 seconds to consider options before advancing. The correct answer is B. The correct answer is B. This scenario represents a genuine ethical dilemma where the obligation to maintain confidentiality intersects with concern for the well-being of a minor. However, the scenario provides an important contextual detail that resolves the tension. In this state, minors have a legal right to confidential reproductive health services, which means both the legal framework and the code of ethics support maintaining confidentiality in this situation. The ethical action is to respect the teen's legal rights and her autonomy while actively connecting her with appropriate prenatal care resources. This approach honors both the principle of autonomy from Article 1 and the principle of beneficence by ensuring she receives the care she needs. Option A overrides both the minor's established legal rights and the ethical principle of respecting individual autonomy. Immediately informing the parents may feel protective, but it violates the law and could cause the teen to distrust health professionals in the future, making her less likely to seek help when she needs it most. Option C violates confidentiality without any legal justification. There is no mandatory reporting obligation that applies to a teen pregnancy in this context, and sharing health information with a school nurse without the participant's consent breaches both legal and ethical standards. Option D abandons the teen at a time when she needs support and resources most. Removing her from the program does nothing to help her and could actually cause harm by disconnecting her from a supportive environment. The ethical response demonstrates that maintaining confidentiality and providing genuine care are not mutually exclusive. You can protect privacy while actively connecting individuals with the resources they need. Summarize the key takeaways